Let's see. We are now live. Thank you so much for joining us for our
My
replayers.
people.
Thank you so much for coming into the room with Bridging the Nations. You know, we do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for joining the replay. If you find this something that Bridging the Nation brings together, definitely something that resonates with you, press that share button. Let's get this message out. Press the heart button. Let the world hear exactly what God has to say. For my live players that are jumping in, thank you so much. We want to welcome you guys. We want to take the time to welcome each and every one of you. Elkie, thank you so much for coming in.
Hey, Elkie.
Hey.
What's up, Tanya?
Tanya is in
Hey,
the building.
hey, I love hungry folk. I gotta tell you, I always notice who pops on first. That tell me these. Hey, my motto is let the hungry eat.
Let
I'm
them eat.
telling you. And look, Tanya, your shirt is coming, honey. It's in the mail. I had to represent one of them today. I had to represent one of the t-shirts. Don't underestimate the queen I am. So
I love
your
it.
shirt is in the mail. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We do appreciate that. Now, for the live players that are in the room, also do me a favor and press the share button. Let's get this out. Let's put it to every group we're a part of, every page that we're a part of. Let them know that we're on live. As a matter of fact, tag a few people. Tag like my sister Queen say, tag your mama, tag your auntie Nell, tag your cousins, your friends,
Everybody.
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 Everybody, tag them. We gonna get this new feast to start rolling. That's what we gonna do, brother Ken. You gonna put on that music before we get started. You gonna put on that music. Let them hear it a little bit.
Let's get to it. I was tagging.
Good.
Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I don't need you to lower the bar for me. I know I'm superwoman. I know I'm strong. I know I got this because I've had it all along.
Come on, y'all. Bob your head with me a little bit. Let's go. Let's move into the right spirit, right mind, one heart, right mind. Let's get to it. Somebody's life is gonna be changed tonight. I'm looking down this list. Somebody's life is gonna be changed tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We do not own the rights to this music, by the way.
I'm broken and it's
Come
beautiful.
on in here. Let's do this.
My broken is beautiful. I'm broken and it's beautiful.
Listen, y'all better get y'all pens. Hello, Carly. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, mom.
Hey, mom. I hope your mommy called you mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your mom? Oh, yeah, last name. I see it.
Come on in the room.
Hey, man. Hey, this is going to be an awesome night. Like, I'm telling you right now, I feel it down in my nor.
I'm telling you.
Hey, like they say in my shunda.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Elkie, you got your pen and paper. Yes.
All right. We just letting a few people get in the room, but thank you guys so much for joining us today. As you saw the title, How to Be Broken and Beautiful at the Same Time. And a lot of people might find that to be like an oxymoron. How can you be broken and be beautiful, and how does that work in itself? And my dad always told me, if anything else, tell your story. And so a lot of you guys already know my story. And whenever I begin this journey, even finding out exactly what brokenness is, because a lot of times we'll look at brokenness as even being down, even being sometimes, the spirits try to creep in, like depression, like, even anxiety of just being unsure of what's going on. But even when I looked up brokenness and what brokenness was, there were some things that I wrote down that I've been writing down through the week, because I want to make sure that you understand it, and it helps you get a little further along a little quicker when you realize it's not just those feelings, those emotions, those things that you go through, but brokenness is different. And so the number one that I realized what brokenness is, a growing awareness. And and that, let me explain even that part. A lot of times when we feel broken, I believe God is trying to get us to a point where he can be creative and exactly, and not, we realize that we can't do it in something in our efforts, but that it's only him. And he gets us to a place, whenever my brother King talked about, brokenness and about the potter and the clay, and he even gave us the scripture, of Isaiah. And so I wanted to know, as far as, even that, like, what do you do is being broken, and that potter, that clay that's on the wheel, what is that? What do you do there? Because I don't know about pottery. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know too much about pottery. So what I wanted to go watch a video, and that's what I did, because I was like, you know what, God, if this is what you told me, whenever I'm broken, whenever I'm distraught, whenever, things happen, how you love broken things. And I'm like, why would you like broken things? What is it about it? But what I realized is, even when the the clay is on the wheel, there were 3 rules that this potter had. And he said, number 1, you always keep it moving. Number 2, you always keep pressure. And number 3 is you always keep it wet. And I was like, okay, well, wet, mean water. What is it? What does that show? What does that exactly show? Understand that water shows clarity. It shows purity. It's, it shows making it smooth. But what this potter began to do is, whenever he first began, he had to put it on the wheel, and it kind of flapped down to where it created a seal. That's where our foundation comes from. Understanding who our source is, that's our foundation, right? But what I noticed is, once he got it on there and he started the wheel spinning, that he began to apply pressure and then push it forward. Now this is all just to become centered on the wheel. And that's what really wowed my mind is because I was like, we're all trying to become centered as far as being one, with ourselves, learning how to be one with ourselves, mind, body, and soul, and understanding who God is inside of us, just realizing the mighty things that he does. But this potter, he would apply pressure, then push forward. And see, and then another thing that I realized is, he said, you have to keep the wheel moving, and that he did not want it to be able to, wobble. So he would push it forward. And a lot of us, when we feel that pressure of being pushed forward, we don't want to stay still, because it's uncomfortable. It's hard. It's a lot of pressure, but that's what he kept doing. In order to get it exactly where it needs it at, he would apply pressure and push forward. And so that's what happens in our life when we're in our broken place, when we're martyred, when we're, when we feel like we have things that are not working out the exact way we thought it should. And that's what happened this week. I was, just trying to always develop myself, just trying to always keep myself growing. And so I was like, okay, God, I need more ideas. That's what I had been praying for. And God had sent this woman to speak to me that did not know me via Facebook, nothing. And she was telling me some things that were going on in my life. She was prophesying in my life. And so, not realizing, because I was in that position, something had happened that same day where someone came after me. And I'm like, God, like, why? This makes me look bad. Like, this don't feel good. This hurts, because I like, God, I know I'm a good person. I try to do what's right. I try to serve you, and all those thoughts start coming to our head, right? We try to justify even of the reason not to be broken. We want to justify that reason of why we don't want to be broken. And we're like, God, you know what? Like we talked about last week, my ship already wrecked. Why I got to get bit by the snake too? I'm already broken up. Why I gotta get bit by the snake too? But understand, that has a purpose. He has a purpose even for your brokenness. He has a purpose for that. So the clay is on the wheel, and he's pushing it forward, and he's applying pressure. And sometimes we don't like that. And then the potter takes it and allows it to elevate, but still it isn't centered. So he pushes it down again and pushes it forward. And God is trying to do that in your life, in my life, where he's like, listen, I need you to be not only one and understand who you are in Christ. Understand that who you are in Christ, I have to get you centered. And in order to get you centered, I have to apply pressure to you, things that are very uncomfortable, things that you feel like are very unfair, things that, you know, you feel like it's not like, how would this bless me? How would this be for my good? And he's applying pressure and pushing it forward. Because even David said, whenever he had sinned with Bathsheba, he was like, Father, I thank you for even the crushed bone, or even the broken bones. And no one wants to feel like that. No one wants to feel broken. No one wants to feel like, you know, like they're being overwhelmed or overtaken, especially when they believe that they're on the right track. But God says, I have a purpose for your brokenness. And a lot of times we mistake the brokenness, and it's really a growth spurt. He's trying to get you to the next level. He's trying to anoint you for something different, but you've mistaken it and say, you know what, I'm so broke because, you know, I can't believe, and we're pouting because of what they've done. They ain't won. They have not won. They have not won. You have to realize who you are. And then that's why I understand that the Bible says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So understand, enemy, if you knew what you were doing, you back off. You back off, because the fire that's inside of me, God already put it inside of me. So it only got, and understand, just like that potter, when he's pushing it forward, it only has one place to go. It can only go one place. So it's already inside of me. It can only come out. It's already inside. So it has to, and I'm trying to calm down.
No,
fire. Come on, fire.
I'm serious. It only has one place to go. He pushes it forward. He presses it down. He pushes it forward. Then he takes it up and he cups his hands to where it only can go up. But then still not centered. He pushes it down again. And you know, a lot of time we feel like we on roller coasters, right? We feel like God, this was going good, then it's going bad. Man, when can it just go good for me? And it all has a purpose. And see, in the mind of the potter, he already knows what he's creating. It's beautiful to him. That's why he's creating it. It's already beautiful to him. So he's already completed it before he started. So he starts pushing it and he's sending it. But what I realized is it still is just a lump of clay until he touches it with his fingers and it opens up. Look, when God opens up your mind, all it takes is for him to touch you, and then something begins to flow out. Something begins to flow out like never before. But it takes a touch from the Father. It takes a touch that he wants to insert something inside of you where it begins to open up. And that's where you see those cups, those bowls, and all those things. And he begins to stretch it. He begins to stretch the side. And see, even stretching feels uncomfortable. Even stretching feels uncomfortable. But even when I was watching this video, because like I told you, I have no idea about pottery. I was just watching a YouTube. I like to YouTube. So I was watching this YouTube of this man, creating pottery. And he says, listen, I want you to stretch it enough where it breaks. And I was like, well, why would you do that? You're trying to create a bowl, sir. Why would you do? And he was like, keep stretching it until it breaks. And you know what his reason for that was? I want you to see that it's okay that it breaks. I want you to see that it's okay that it's broken, because we can start all over. You're still on the potter's wheel. So whenever we break, that's why we should take brokenness completely different. And I realized that this week when I was like, God, I feel like I'm stuck. Like, I'm trying to study, and the more I study, it's like things I've heard before. So I know that, but I feel stuck. Like I want to level up. And then something happens where someone lies on me and tries to even tries. And I will tell you the word try, like to even destroy things. And I'm like, God, why? And that was that snake, that thing that thought it was going to kill you, that we talked about, that viper, that snake that bit Paul, but yet he shook it off because there was a purpose that he had to heal someone on that land. So just like with what God is doing inside of us, there's a purpose that people come against you. There's a purpose for all that. And that's why it's so beautiful, because before the potter begins to work, he's already completed it. So your journey is so beautiful because he's already completed what he already said you're going to be. It's already done. But see, we have to go through the process of being pushed and getting pressure applied and being pushed forward and then being raised up to where it breaks, everything breaks down and we feel like it's over. And then he said, oh no, you're still on the potter's wheel. And he starts to do it again. And he applies pressure and he pushes us forward. And then he allows us to go up until he gets it exactly where he needs it. And God is doing that for you. He needs to get you to a point where he can allow you to become what he's already created inside of you. And so you have to realize that. So in being broken, it's beautiful because you're on the potter's, you're on the stool, or you're on the potter's wheel. You're on his wheel. So understand, you're still in his hand. So he's going to create something beautiful because it's already beautiful. He's already completed the process. He's already completed the process inside of you. You just have to withstand the pressure. You have to withstand being pushed forward into things, into places that's uncomfortable, because the clay has already been smashed on the wheel, and it's trying to create that seal right there. It's trying to create that seal right where it is on the wheel. But the potter's like, no, that's not where I want you. Pressure, push forward. So understand, in your brokenness, even when you're broke, and you're like, why would I want to be broke? God said there's a reason for your brokenness, because I want you to know it's okay, because he finds beauty in broken things. He tells us that I find it beautiful when in broken things, because what he's creating, it's one of a kind. It's one of a kind in what he's doing. So it's beautiful to him. It's beautiful to him. So no matter what mess up you've done in your life, no matter what trial you went through, and you're like, God, everyone knows about it, it's beautiful to God. Now understand, he does not like sin. He cannot look upon sin. But guess what? He's going to use it for your good. Because that thing that the enemy thought he had her for a minute. He thought he had him for a minute because he had her mind. He had his mind. But he's like, no, guess what? That's perfect. That's exactly what I need to push her forward into exactly where I want her to be. So everything that you're going through, everything that you've been through, that's why you should never be ashamed to tell your story. Because guess what? That might be the viper that ends up biting you to take you to the place the destination you need to be to help heal people. Because that's what the greatest two lessons are about. The greatest two lessons are about love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and love your neighbor as yourself. I'm sorry, y'all, the enemy has attacked me this week. Y'all just don't know. And I said, you know what? I got mad because I was like, how dare you? I'm like, how dare you? And I was like, you know what? Like, God is going to use this for my good. And he wants to do the same thing in your life. He's going to use it for your good. But understand, you have to stay on the wheel. So you got to keep moving. I got to keep teaching myself these things. You got to keep moving. And then not only that, there will be pressure. You have to keep pressure applied in order to get it exactly where it needs it. And then keep it wet. Understanding with the water, there's clarity, there's purity. God is like, and with his anointing that he's putting even on the people of God, and then even on these us three right here, there's something different about it. There's something different about it that allows the clay, to be exactly and look exactly the way it needs to where he can position it in the right position to be able to level it up, to be able to create that great thing. So I would love to keep going, but I definitely want to hear my brother.
Hey, you are rolling. If you ain't
the enemy.
She can take my time. She can take my time.
I yield my time to Lady Queen.
Let me just tell you what I realized is real talk. I said, you know what? Whenever the enemy is very bold, he has no, he disrespectful is what he is. He's very bold. And I'm just talking about spirits in general. Yeah. He's very bold about it. So it takes people like me, people like you to be bold about what God has put inside of us. That, you know what, just because you think you stopped something when really what you did, it broke me. But guess what? I was still on the potter's wheel anyway. So now it's time for me to level up. It's time for me to level up. Because ain't no devil in hell gonna stop with what this is, what Bridging the Nation does. Ain't no devil in hell gonna stop that. Because God, believe me, I've had so many brokenness, so many things that I've done, so many things that if God just began to expose my skeletons, I would be embarrassed of. But guess what? That's what's so great about the God that we serve. That's what's so great about him, because he loves broken things. You give him ashes, he gives you beauty. You give him sorrow, he gives you joy. He loves broken things because he'll make you whole. And that's why I have to stop. That's why I have to stop.
My sister Queen, Lady Queen, you are killing that. But hey, I'll pick up a little bit right there and see, who gonna check you, Lady Queen? That was off the chain. I'm gonna pick it up right there just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all about to witness something tonight that we've never done before, that you've seen 3 international speakers with no real notes. We want to hear from you all out there. My sister Queen just broke bread. Please. Yes. And we want to talk to you all tonight. This is a session for all of us. She broke bread right there, and I'm going to add a little bit onto it. I'm going to pass it on to Antoinette so she can speak. But she just said, I wrote down notes right here. You're a sinner. You're being applied pressure. And see that one of the tricks, I don't know if it's of the enemy or if it's of us. One of the tricks is that while I'm being broken, that I am still magnificent for God. Meaning that in my brokenness, God can still use me. Oh, y'all need a witness, don't you? Come here, Moses. I want you to go over there, Moses, and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. But God, I stutter. I can't. I'm not the one. You know, I got anger issues. Magnificent for God, meaning that in my
I'm sorry.
God can still use me. Woo! Hey.
It was worth repeating. It was worth repeating.
Play me again. Hey, run that back. But it's the very person. It's the very person that understands that in my brokenness, God can use me. See, the trick of the enemy is that we believe that our mess got to be fixed up before God can use the God in me. Let me say it that way. God is in you. He's ever present on the inside of you. You're not looking for somebody to come down from heaven to do it. He's already present on the inside of you. You no longer have to feel bad about what you went through. What you went through is part of why God can use you. I know you got to. I know you stutter. I know you got a stuttering problem. I know you think you need a degree. I know you think you need $100,000 in the bank. I know you think you need all this glitz and glam, but God wants your stuttering self to go over there and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Don't you sit down and complain about what I do. You better drop your stutter. You better drop your stutter. And even if you carry it, it can't stop you. It cannot stop you. You need to write that right there in your notes. Even the stutter, and I say stutter is metaphoric because the stutter just represents what Moses had. In my life, it was the spirit of poverty. In your life, it's whatever it is. You substitute the stutter for whatever you got on the inside of you. Understand that you are God's workmanship created unto good works. He knew you before the foundation of the earth. And that pressing on that wheel, come on, man, let me break bread. Sister Queen, Lady Queen, you killed it. That pressing on the wheel, even in the press, God can use you to do great things on this earth. Don't you dare. It's funny because we'll brag on somebody else. We watched The Last Dance. Michael Jordan killed it. You know, we watched this we played, the rapper that do all the songs, and we love bragging on other folks. But now it's time for you to brag on the God in you. Now it's time for you to brag on the God in you. It's time out for you talking about what you were not. It's time out talking about what you don't have. It's time for you to brag on the God in you. Does greater live on the inside of you? It's time out for lip service. Now it's time for life service. I just broke bread. It's time out for lip service. It's time for life service. Does your life reflect that the great I am that lives on the inside of you? See, so many of us, we focus on where we're broken that we forget where we're whole. We forget where we're whole. God could use Moses because Moses had a heart after God's own heart. Moses understood relationship better than a lot of other people. Moses understood that he was one under authority. As long as I can walk under authority, I can walk in authority and not abuse it. See, you looking at what you don't have, and God saying, boy, or a girl, or a son, or daughter, you got all the tools you need to do what I put on the inside of you to do. So right now, I'm talking to Selena, Charlotte, Tanya, Elke, Mama Senegal. I'm talking to y'all right now. Yep, that thing that you had on the inside of you, it's time to go get it. It's time to go get it. You're not going to hide from your destiny, running from your brokenness. I'm going to accept my brokenness. I understand, God, that I grew up the way I did because it is the power behind the force of which I reach the people. I'm breaking bread right now. And until you understand that what you went through was meant to be a part of you for the service of which God is calling you. Don't you think it was a lot of people that did not stutter in that day? He could have called Aaron. Aaron was eloquent of speech. He could have called Miriam, didn't have the right heart, but he had a plethora of people he could have called. But he said, Moses, bring your stuttering, broken self, you and your anger issues right on over here. I'm going to use all that stuff that you thought they thought it was for your harm, huh? They meant it for your harm. But God said, no, I done turned that around and worked that for your good. Come on down here, Moses. You go tell Pharaoh who sent you. I am sent me. And I'm telling you right there, when you go for that job, you feel like you're not qualified for who sent you. You tell them, I am sent me. And I'm going to turn this thing over. Sister Antoinette Marie, ooh, speak.
Listen. My goodness. I'm telling you, listen, it's about 6:25, 28. Share this video. There are so many individuals that are hungry for this. I tell you, I wish I had a plate. I'll just get your plate and just tee it up, because we're giving y'all all that today. This is so amazing. And you know what's also amazing is that, you know, everything that we do here, it is definitely by God. We don't, you know, have this thing where we set things up. I tell you, Sister Lady Queen, one of the things we said earlier this week, if one come for us, one come for the other, they're going to get all three of us.
Bring it.
So if you come, and I say, if you don't come for us unless we ask for you, for real, don't come for us unless we ask for you.
I wore my camo for that purpose.
So I'm just going to tap in just a little bit. It's so amazing because throughout our brokenness, we are still phenomenal. That's one of the things I want us to definitely understand throughout your brokenness. And even when my brother was talking about the stutter, I look at the stutter as, and even though I used to stutter as a child, I look at this stutter as a misstep. You know how like you could be walking, doing your own thing, and all of a sudden you miss a step. You miss a step. And I want to encourage you today to let you know that even in your life, when you miss a step, you can pick yourself back up. Okay, you can pick yourself back up. Don't listen to the naysayers, to the haters, to the dream snatchers. We're not around those people. If people are want to be in your life and they want to snatch your dream, those are not people that's supposed to be in your inner circle. So you can get yourself back up again. If you need some help, call me when you need a friend. Call. Listen, I'm a speaker. I'm not a psalmist. You can get yourself back up again, and not only can you fly, beloved, you can soar. Just be like, listen, I know this is happening, I know that happened, but the God in me, we're gonna play that song at the end. The God in me says that this is who I am, that I am not just a conqueror. Come on up in the house. I am more than a conqueror. I'm gonna say it again because my brother Anthony told me to. I am more than a conqueror. So one of the things that I began to learn is that throughout everything that we even go through. So if you went through a divorce, listen, you still more than a conqueror. Listen, I'm here. I went through a divorce, baby. Let me tell you, there's some collateral beauty on the other side. There's some collateral beauty on the other side of a divorce. Come on up in the room. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, it is. Even when you have a relationship, or even if it's with your employer and things didn't turn out right, let me tell you something. God always knows what is best.
Man.
Nothing in your life, beloved, I had to calm my own self down. Nothing in your life, beloved, goes to waste. Nothing. And that's like what my sister was talking about the clay. And how God just gets us. He just says, listen. And what's so fascinating, I'm trying not to get up, but what's so fascinating is that God uses his hands. He don't go and get a whip. He don't hit us over the head with a shoe. He uses his hands. You know why? Let me tell y'all why. Because he's gentle. Because he's gentle with us. With his hands, he's gentle with us because he knows already what's already inside of us. He already knows, as Lady Queen said, he already knows what he already intends to make us. So the other thing I want to say is this. Stop trying to be perfect. I'm going to say it for the people in the back, right back there. Stop trying to be perfect. God never intended you to try to be perfect, right? And so I want you to understand that. Yes, you're going to have to go through some things. Everybody on this planet, it's about 7.6 billion people on this planet. We are not the ones that have to be perfect. So you pick yourself back up again, right? Because if you don't, if you're always trying to, oh, let me get it right. Oh my goodness. Listen, you're going to drive yourself over somebody's bridge. You don't need to do that, beloved, right? And I want to say this to you, Shay. I don't know. See, this is, when Spirit God comes in the room, he just said, listen, I don't care if you on Facebook, Instagram. I don't care if you on YouTube. When the Spirit is going to deliver, the Spirit's going to deliver. So, Shay, I don't know what you're going through in your life, but I want you to know this. You don't have to be perfect, beloved. And no weapon formed against you, it shall not prosper. I don't know you, but I tell you this, the Spirit of God knows you, and the Spirit of God knows what you are going through at this particular moment in your life. So I'm saying to you, you and everything that is connected to you, yes, God, it will prosper. Every single thing, every single person that is connected to you. Nobody can put their hands on you. Stay righteous, stay and do exactly what God has told you to do. And as our Lady Queen said, stay on that wheel. I know you want to get off, but stay on the wheel, because this is what God's doing. God's saying, listen, Shay, I got you, sugar. Don't even worry about it. I got you. Even when times you think, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? Things are going bad. Listen, stop speaking that out of your mouth. Okay? Because when you speak, things are going to go bad. Things are going to go bad. You're calling it forth. Remember that, right? So whatsoever a man thinketh, that is who he is. That has to come back to you, right? So I want to say this to everybody too. Listen, if people are telling you to be perfect, get those people away from you. Because let me tell you something. Come on close. Listen, let me tell you this secret. They ain't perfect either. Sugar, they not perfect either. But at the end of the day, they telling you, oh, you should have did this. Oh, why you do this? Listen, you better look in the mirror. Didn't Michael say, look at the man in the mirror? Listen.
Come on, Psalmist.
No. Right now, they're going to have to look at the man in the mirror. And sometimes in our life, as we go through every single thing, this is what I want us to also to remember, right? Stop living from the outside in.
Say that.
Let me say.
I got you. Say that.
Ooh,
stop living from the outside in. That was none but the Holy Ghost. Stop living from the outside in, right? All this stuff that we totally think, all this external things. That's why whenever I coach, I talk about manifestation. There's two levels of manifestation. The carnal part of manifestation is gimme. That's what I want. That's what I want. Give me a house, car, I want this, other. But the spiritual aspect of manifestation is, God, tell me who you want me to connect with. That's the manifestation that God wants us to be speaking about and to live in. It's that true manifestation. God, a lot of times in leadership, we call it service leadership. And how is it that God has brought us here to be leaders, but also to serve? Did you know you can be a leader and serve? Yes, indeed. Listen, y'all getting business, etiquette, and everything today. The other thing is, I want to say this too. Perception governs your DNA. Baby, yes, it does. Watch what you say. Watch what you see. Watch how you see a thing, right? Perception, how you see things, how you look at things, it will govern what you do and how you treat people. I know I'm telling the truth on that. How you see Lady Queen will govern how you gonna treat her. How you see Anthony Williams Inspires will govern how you treat him, right? So one of the things we want to say is that, yes, you're at some point in your life may be broken and you may fall. fall with style, sugar pies. Let me tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fall with style. Just fall, because you know what? When you fall down, you know what's going to happen. You're going to get back up. We fall down and we get up. Listen, I don't know what all this spirit is today. When you fall down, you will get up. You will get up, right? And sometimes you might need other people to help you. You might need for somebody a confidant that will help you get up. Stop isolating yourself. Listen, Carolyn Brooks, stop isolating yourself. You don't have to be in a silo. Don't suffer by yourself. We are going to go through. We're going to be broken. But just remember, whose hands? Whose hands?
The Father.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, the Father's hands. He got the whole world. I don't know where this stuff coming from. Listen, this is the day that I want you to say, and somebody type in a comment section. This too shall pass.
Amen.
Baby, this too shall pass. You don't have to have that heaviness, that weight, right? Invite people into your life, right? And let me say this too. Stop taking yourself so serious. Stop taking yourself so serious, right? Stop blaming yourself so much for things that you didn't even have no way of knowing what's happening. You didn't even know it was coming forth. You stop blaming yourself, because that's where the enemy comes in. Oh, you not this. Oh, you not no good. Look at you. You supposed to be a preacher. Oh, look at this. You supposed to be a leader. You supposed to be a minister. You supposed to be a mama. You supposed to be doing this. You supposed to be a dad. Where your kid? Listen, the enemy is the accuser, right? So I'm going to say this to you. You have the power. You have the power to rewrite your story. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't. And as you write, as you scribe, I like that word scribe because I can say the R, as you scribe and you and you go through life, you like, man, I messed that up. Let me tell you what you can do. I know we don't use these anymore, but back in the day, because I was born in Alabama, and maybe Alabama ain't got nothing to do with it. We used to have these pencils like this, right? These old school, people call them old school, with the this right here. So as you go through your life and it's something that you don't like, is what you do. You erase it. That's all you got to do. Rewrite it, because there's wealth in you. There's wealth. There's abundance of wealth within you. And God loves us so much. God loves us so much. And so you have the power. Yes, Sister Tracy, you have the power to rewrite your story. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this very open and transparent. You see these three awesome, great, beautiful, handsome, magnificent, international speakers and authors that's right here on this screen. Every single one of us has gone through something. Yeah. Every single one of us. Yeah. Right? And so we had the capability. If we would have just stayed down when we had fallen, we would not be here. We would not be in this time, in this particular moment right now. That also means that this word that's coming forth, you wouldn't probably be getting this word.
Nope, so that's true.
Listen, so when you fall down, get back up again. That's what you got to do. You got to pick yourself back up again. And so, Lady Queen, you are our host today. Can I read this? Because I really believe.
You sure can.
Let me read this. Listen. In 2015, y'all, listen, I was going through something crazily just a lot. Let me just say that. I'm going to try to calm myself down. Wish I had a microphone right now. I was going through something very, very traumatic. Somebody gave me this card, right? It's called the Oak Tree. So I am, as we transition and as we kind of end here, I want to give you this word that I'm hoping and praying that it encourages you. Did I have this plan? Absolutely not. But that's the greatness of God. And we didn't have this plan until we got on here about 5 minutes before. So let me read this to you, right? Be strong. It says, a mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away, then snapped its bough and pulled its bark until the oak was tired and stark. But still the oak tree held its ground when all the other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke. How can you still be standing, you old oak? Oh my God. The oak tree said, I know that you can break each branch of mine in two, carry every leaf away, and shake my limbs and make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth. Oh my God. Growing stronger since my birth. Jeremiah 1:5. Come on. You'll never touch them, for you see, they are the deepest part of me. Until today, I wasn't so sure of how just much I could endure. But now I found, with thanks to you, Lady Queen, William Inspires, Margaret, Tina, I'm stronger with God than I ever knew. Listen.
Man.
Come on.
We done with that. Go ahead, Lady Queen.
I think there was a question, brother.
Yeah, there was a question in the chat. That somebody put out that I want to make sure that we get it handled. Lady Queen, you take it first, okay. I guess. How do I become more comfortable with my brokenness? I think Tanya put that in the chat box. I definitely want to make sure we got to it.
With that, and I'm just gonna tell, the best way I can help you is to tell you my story. I wasn't comfortable with my brokenness, but I do understand my brokenness is for my good. It's not a comfortable position because anytime pressures apply to you, it's uncomfortable. But understand, with being uncomfortable, there's growth in it. So I think we have to be comfortable with the thought of us being broken because we understand it's working for our good. I don't think you can ever become comfortable with it, but know that it's working for your good. So like, for example, with something, and that's why I say, like, I'm still on the potter's wheel daily. The enemy tries to attack me all the time, which lets me know that, Father, I'm pleasing you. And you know what? It's going to set more and more fire behind me to go after the things of the Father. But what I realized is it isn't comfortable because no one wants to be broken. It doesn't feel good. It's in our right minds, it doesn't feel good. But the thing is, understand, from your brokenness, beauty can come from that. You choose. Whenever God applies pressure, and that's why we have to make sure we understand who God is and that He is our source. Because anytime He applies pressure, we have to go somewhere. Like that potter in that clay, when he applies pressure, the clay moves forward. When he applies pressure a different way, it moves up. It starts going to a different level. You know what I'm saying? So understand, I'm not comfortable with being broke. It's not that I'm comfortable with it because it doesn't feel good, but I do understand being uncomfortable causes my level of faith to grow, causes me to level up even on my speaking, causes me to level up even on the researching, even on reading the Word of God, even on my prayer life. Like, it causes me to level up because I'm like, you know what? I know if He's doing this, it's because He sees the greatness in me. And I didn't see it in myself. When I look in the mirror, I was like, God, like, I want to be this. I want to be, this much lighter as far as weight. I want to be great when I speak. I don't want to stutter. And that was my thing too. I was just like Moses. God, you sure? Because I stutter a lot, and just looking at myself, I didn't think I was worthy enough. But then that's when God is like, great, I love broken things. Let me use you. And that's the same thing with us. I don't think I'm comfortable with being broke. It doesn't feel good, but I do understand it works out for my good.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something to that as well? One of the things too is just know that it's a process. The brokenness is a process. And as Lady Queen said, nobody is very comfortable in a broken state, right? No, nothing in our life that's ever broken. We're just like happy about it. But one of the things that you also can do is to level up your prayer life. And that's for real. There are times whenever I went through what I went through, I had to fast. And I'm not telling anybody that you got to go on a 60-day fast, even a 30-day fast, but I had to push some stuff away because I knew I was in battle. I knew I was in battle. And when you know, like when you in battle and you can't eat everything that you used to eat, right? Because it's not the best thing for you. So I had to pray and meditate. Prayer and meditate, two different things, right? I had to also know within myself that I was coming out. I had to see myself coming out. I had to see myself walking and that I was on the other side. And that helped me. And that's what I talked about when I said perception. What is it that you see? Because if I sat all the time and just thought about the bad and the negative that was happening, I tell you, it would have literally probably almost taken me out of here. So I had to see myself great on the other side. I had to see myself as being a woman that I knew that I already was, but it had not manifest yet. So prayer, meditation, and I had to exercise. I had to go outside, I had to get that real good air. I had to breathe. So I'm just giving you tangible things that you can do that will help you get to the other side and have communication with other people that you trust. You need a support system.
And you know what that is? When she said that though, prayer, when like I'm telling you, if you taking notes, write that down. When I tell you, like I was drowning a few times and I would just sit there and be like, God, and I would just talk to God, because that's what prayer is. It's having a conversation with God and say, God, I don't understand why. And this is how I felt. And I'd start to talk to God. Prayer is like one of the number one things. And I think Brother King has said it. He said, whenever things aren't going well, horizontally, he has to check his vertical, his relationship with God, and it's the same thing with us. Prayer is a key. Prayer is a key.
And I'll chime in this. Y'all did an excellent job. I would just chime in on the back end and say, at the end of the day, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. Like I have full confidence that I know that all these things work together for my good. And a lot of times when we're feeling that brokenness and we're feeling not comfortable in an area, that's God showing ourselves to us. Like I can't, like what he's saying is, in order for me to get you to where I want you, I got to deal with that part of you that's not like me, or that part of you that's causing you the thorn in your flesh, the thorn on your side. Like you got to deal with that, because when we have something that's something internal that attract that thing to us. And in order for God to get us to his perfect place, like he has to deal with that, because if he doesn't deal with that thorn in your side, once you get on top of the mountain, it will destroy you. And that's why he's working these things on the way up. And one thing I do know about the ways and characters of God, that God doesn't wait until we're perfect to be used. Even in the midst of your brokenness, you are more valuable than rubies and gold. Even in the midst of your brokenness, you are the apple of God's eye. Even in the midst of your brokenness, you have been fearfully and wonderfully made. Even in the midst of your brokenness, he didn't call you what you are. He doesn't call you how you are today. He calls you for the reason he's created you. Back when I was living in a room the size of a closet, I was the motivational teacher to the masses. I already had houses and everything that God has given me already put up back for me then. But it took him having to work with me through my brokenness, because if I didn't work on my self-preservation, if I didn't work on the fear that I had in my life, if I didn't work on that spirit of poverty I had in my life, it would destroy me today. It would destroy me. I know I've been caught. Like, that's why you see people that get on these big platforms and they seem like nobody can say anything to them, because they haven't been broken and marred enough. People that's been broken and marred always understand, man, that my life is a drink offering. I just broke bread. Yeah. I just broke bread. My life is a drink. God put me here and my brokenness all here so people can benefit and grow from my being on earth. So my thing on the back end, I would say, lean not to your own understanding. In Moses' eyes, all he knew was I stuttered. The begging guy at the gates of beautiful, all he knew was he was a beggar. Saul on the road to Damascus, all he knew was he was a murderer. Steve Harvey, when he was working in a plant, all he knew he was a plant worker. And just like you right now, whatever you're going through, whatever it is right now, you see yourself in that place, but God sees you as Paul. God sees you as the deliverer. God is ready to have a conversation with you up in the mountains. He sees you as one of the best in your field right now. So even in the midst of your brokenness, don't judge yourself based on where you are today, but see yourself how God sees you.
Yeah.
And you know, even with that story, because I hear people saying, well, why would God want to allow this to happen to me in order to, like, isn't there another way? You know what? What I realize is God doesn't see you at where you are right now. And when I say that, hear me, he sees the completed version when I say that, because I want you to realize when Jesus, when Mary and Martha came and said, look, our brothers died. Like, if you would have came a long time ago, like we say, God, if you would have did this a long time ago, you could have prevented this from happening, right? And we tell that to God a lot of times. But Jesus, they told Jesus, look, if you would have came a long time ago, I mean, a few days ago, he could have lived, but he's dead already. And then even in that, when he asked Martha, he said, don't you believe, you know, that I am the that you'll see him, you know, at the resurrection, and that you'll see him again, that he'll live again. And she goes, yes, Father, like in the resurrection. He says, I am the resurrection. And then he gets it because he's crying at this time because it hurts him. Whenever God sees you going through these things, it hurt. He doesn't want you to hurt. It's not that but he knows it's for a purpose. Just like when Jesus was on his knees right at the tomb of Lazarus, he told him, he says, God, I thank you that you heard my prayers and that is already done. And you had to do it this way to get the glory. And he was crying. It said Jesus wept right there because it hurt him. He saw everyone else mourning. He saw everyone else hurt, and that hurt him. But then he stands up and says, Lazarus, come forth. He knew Lazarus was going to live, but it hurt him that he saw them going through that. But he knows the finished product. So some things he has to allow to happen because it's for his glory. And that's what Jesus said. I thank you. And that's what we should pray. Father, I thank you that you've already heard me and that you've already completed this and that I've already made it on the other side because you're a God of all knowing. You've already completed my life. I'm just trying to catch up to what you've completed. And so Jesus is standing there, but he said, Lazarus, come forth. And he needs you to come forth. Even when you feel like it's died, even when you feel like there's no other hope, he's like, I'm trying to push you and apply pressure for you to go somewhere.
Love it. Love it.
Well, you know what I think, Mr. Anthony, I think that this has been such a blessing. This has been blessing. And I think there's a song that we need to play. Let's see if you can get that one song. I think it's by...
Y'all know by the time the thing over, I can't tell where anything is.
Welcome.
Look, I get the moving and kicking stuff.
It's the God in me, maybe that one. But I want to say this too, also to everybody that's on this feed. This is so great. Thank you, Stacy, for being a part of this. And I really love with what you said about, everything that we go through in life. Let me just try to find her. Let me go to the Shay while I can find it. Shay was saying, she said, I was guilty of judging myself where I am today. No more. No more. As a matter of fact, this is your Emancipation Proclamation. Sugar Bear. This is your Juneteenth today. This is your Juneteenth. Stop judging yourself on where you are today based on some things that happen in your life. Based on some things that happen in your life. God has you. He knows exactly where you are in your life. So I want to say thank you and believe and trust in what God has told you. God is real and he loves you. Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us on today. Thank you again also, Tanya. I was looking for a comment that but I can't find it right now.
Before you keep going, can I hop in on that last one you said about judging yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like when I say let's look at ourselves as God sees us, like God loves us so much that he lives through us. So God is not expecting us to do this by our might, our power, our strength. Yeah. Like God lives through us. And I think sometimes we get caught up in this physical, this earth suit, and we start looking at things from this earth suit eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so much higher than what this dirt suit is. And I think once we start making decisions and once we start living out of the great I am, I mean, like, do you know who lives on the inside of you? Do you know what? Like, I think some people forget what's on the inside of them. Like, we're not looking for God to come out the sky and make things happen. It's according to the power that works in you. Like, do you know who you doggone are? Man, if the people knew who you were, they should be coming asking you today for answers. The people right now next to you, they should be asking you right now today for answers, but they don't know who you are. My question is, you are asking the world for answers when the answers are already in you. You're looking for somebody to bring you a solution, but your solution is already in you. And I think we got to start living and making decisions from the greater that's on the inside of it. I am the motivational teacher to the masses. I ain't making that based on what I see. I'm making that based on what I know. And check this out. Last thing I'm gonna say, what I know comes from what's one with my spirit. Adam knew Eve. They were intimate together. The two became one. The motivational teacher to the masses, we're one. You can't separate me from him. You can't separate me from being a great father from who I am, or a great husband from who I am. Why? Because I know it. And sometimes when we come to these crises of belief, it's because that we haven't spent enough time knowing who we are.
Yes.
You did, bro.
Every devil, imp, every enemy, they know who you are. You got to, like, I gotta go. When Jesus was up on there, he said, man, if you be who you say you are, turn these bread. He knew who he was. That's why he said, if you be who you say you are. He knew who he was. And I'm telling you right now, as I look now, he asking you if you be who you say you are, and you sitting there listening like, man, I might need to do. No, I'm telling you, he knows who you are. Now you got to get to know who you are. You got to become one with what God created you to do, and stop judging yourself based on. I'm about to break bread right here.
Break bread, bro.
It's too many people. We judge ourselves based on what we think we ought to be doing. Yeah. Like, for example, if you judge a fish by its ability to walk on land, that fish is a failure. If you judge Michael Jordan on his ability to play baseball, he looks like a failure. And a lot of times we're judging ourselves like a fish out of water. Oh, I just can't get that. Man, listen, find your flow and you do it because it lives on the inside of you, and it will look like sweatless victory. You don't have to beg, borrow, and steal to get to your wealthy place. Why? Because it is already in you. You got to work it out. I'm done. I'm done.
Listen. No. You don't hit something. Wait, hold up now. Hold up. Wait. If everybody can get what Anthony just said, okay, God dwells within you. Somebody type that in for the people that is going to do the replay. God dwells within you. He is already in you, beloved. You are a part of God.
My present help.
And I think sometimes we think like that can't be true because he's God. But let me tell you, let me throw this tea at you right here. It is true because he is God. It is true because he is God and he dwells within you. And so I'm going to say this, and this might hurt, but I'm going to say this.
Cause some growth. Come on.
You don't have to get a touch. I'm going to say it like it is.
Yeah.
You don't need a touch. You don't need no miracle spring water. You don't need, listen, God is within you.
Come on.
He already is in you, right? We don't need no honey. We don't need no fragrance. You don't need no lavender.
Hey, we don't need to call Peter Popoff.
I did not do that. I did not. I ain't going there with you. I'm just telling you.
We just have fun.
I just want to let you know, beloved, God is already in you. He already is dwelling within you. And all you got to do is, just like he said, get in touch with who God is that's within you. He's your father. So anytime a father, that means what? You got some of his, you got his DNA already. Who gonna check you? Who gonna check you? Ain't nobody gonna check you because God is in you. He living within you every single day. When you go to the store, he within you. When you go to bed, he in you. When you talk to your children nice, he in you. Listen, remember that, beloved. Remember that God is in you already. He is your source. He is your confidant. He is the supreme I am. He is I am. So what he said is I am. So I am dwells within you. Yes, he does. Believe that. Believe that. Draw closer to him. Spend time with him. Listen, don't let none of these dogmatic people come up and talking about you need some apple cider and sprinkle it on your head and all this type of stuff. No, we're not playing that no more. We are a different generation. You're not going to trick us with that no more. You're not tricking us with that. I'm going to talk about that on my own private one. You're not going to trick us with that. We're done with that. We woke. We are very woke.
That's funny.
Well, what I think is Miles Monroe said it. Fish understand that they're meant for the water and they dominate that. Birds understand they're meant for the air. They fly, they dominate that. But only human beings have that issue where we don't just be whatever it is that, because there's greatness. God, if God is inside of us, he's unlimited. And we limit ourselves so much on what we can do. So if we can get past that, even I'm speaking to myself right now too, just learning that God inside of you, there's an unlimited that, even with the water, you think water, men haven't even reached the deepest depths of water yet. They haven't even reached that. And understand God has like I told you, he says, keep moving, apply pressure and water. And men haven't even tapped in to the greatness that's inside of you. Yeah, you done scraped off the edge a little bit, but if you really tap into the power, you could seriously speak some things in your life and say, you know what? No longer will I allow, because understand God does put some people in your life because you know how they say some people are there to help you pray and some people are there to make you pray, to get you to a certain point. You have to realize, put them in their lane and say, look, I understand this is your lane and this is where you're going to stay at. But realize that he has given you supreme authority, power to do exactly what he needs you to do here on this earth. You just got to walk in that. We just got to walk in that.
Yes, Queen, I agree. You got that song ready, Anthony?
I do. But Queen, I'm about to make this one statement based on what you just said.
Make it, bro.
I'm going to make this one statement based on what you just said. And look, I ain't had a chance. Look, I ain't had a chance to vet this thought, but I'm going to say it. I think man has one true problem. In any area of a personal life is elevating, one true problem is elevating that level of belief in God through them in that one area. That's the only deficiency that a man can have. That poverty mindset that I once had, all it was me elevating what I believe God could do through me. That's how you overcome that poverty spirit.
That's a key. That key is about that big. That key, that's a key.
I just had that one thought. I didn't vet it, but it felt good after listening to y'all. So I thought I'll put it out there. He that has an ear, let him hear. Vet it. I ain't proved that.
It was good, bro. It was good. It was good. I'm so glad. I hope that everybody on here has enjoyed this. I tell you, it's nothing like rich and brand new manna or bread. It's nothing like fresh bread, nothing like fresh manna, nothing like some fresh cornbread, hot water cornbread. It's nothing like it. It's just nothing like it. So we want to thank you for coming in. Hey, Sheila, thank you so much for joining us on today. Our brother Anthony gonna have this song, and we just want to leave you with this inspiration. We want to leave you with this empowerment. We want to. We hope that everybody has had a really fantastic week, and we know that you're going to have a fantastic weekend. Yes, we are. We're going to have a fantastic weekend. Right. You ready, bro?
And if you have any questions or any topics that y'all want us to speak on, please put it in the comments. You can inbox any of us, and we will definitely try to make sure that's a subject that we talk about. Whatever you might be dealing with, and you're not sure exactly how to handle it, or what would the Bible even say as far as what I should do. Please reach out to us. We'd love to talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank y'all for joining in. Y'all were amazing tonight. So thank you all for dropping all your comments, man. We do this because of you all. So thank you all for chiming in this conversation. Now it's time for a party. What you don't know is when she get home and get behind closed doors, man, she hit the phone. Who is it? Who is it? Come on now, y'all got to rock with your boy on that one. Who is it? You got to rock with me on that one. I need 5 people to say it's the God in me down there. Not the God in the heavens, not the God of the earth.
In me, in you.
Love you too, Sherry.
Thank you, Tracy, for joining us. And Tanya. Thank you, Shay Shay. Your life will never be the same.
I see you, Stacey. It's the God in me. You better believe it.
How much?
Unlimited. Unlimited.
Thank you, Tanya Hamilton.
I'm gonna leave you without a party up in here.
Thank you, Stacy. Yes, it is the God in you. Listen, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's God in you.
Think I'm so fresh, think I'm so clean, think I'm so sweet. It's the God in me.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast. And remember, next Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That makes it 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please come back and join us as we talk about whatever subject y'all want to talk about. Let us know. So we'll talk about that on next week, and we can begin to live the best life that God told us we're able to live. We just got to tap into that. We appreciate you guys. And remember, we are bridging the nations one Thursday at a time. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.